Have you ever felt a quiet shift inside you? Like the universe is whispering your name, urging you towards something bigger. Maybe you stumbled across this video and felt a spark, as if it was meant for you. That's not chance, it's Carl Jung's synchronicity. A sign you're stepping into your most powerful phase. Welcome to Jung's Psyche Hub, where we dive deep into the psyche to unlock your true potential. In this video, we'll explore 5 profound signs that you're crossing a psychological threshold, guided by Jung's timeless wisdom. From the crumbling of old masks to the awakening of your inner strength, you'll discover why this moment is no accident and how to embrace it with courage and clarity. Whether you're feeling lost, restless, or ready for change, this journey will show you how to claim your power like never before. Stay with us until the end for practical steps to transform your life with Jung's insights. Hit that play button, and let's begin unlocking the woman you were always meant to be. Have you ever stumbled across a book, a conversation, or even this video, and felt a jolt, like it was placed in your path for a reason? That's the universe whispering, nudging you toward a truth you're ready to hear. Welcome to the first sign of your most transformative phase, the call of synchronicity. Carl Jung's psychology tells us this isn't mere coincidence. It's a meaningful alignment of your inner world with the outer reality, a signal that you're crossing a psychological threshold into your deepest power. Let's explore why this moment feels so destined and how it marks the beginning of your journey to wholeness. Meet Lisa, a 35-year-old marketing manager who always prided herself on having it all together career. Friends, a polished life, but lately, she's felt restless, like something's missing. One evening, scrolling online, she clicks on a video about Jung's ideas, and it hits her like a lightning bolt. The words seem to speak directly to her, naming feelings she couldn't articulate. She starts noticing patterns, books falling off shelves, conversations echoing her thoughts, even dreams urging her to pay attention. This is synchronicity, Jung's concept of meaningful coincidences that connect the unconscious to the world around us. It's the universe reflecting your readiness for change. Carl Jung believed synchronicity happens when your psyche is ripe for transformation. It's not random. It's the collective unconscious, that shared reservoir of human experience, orchestrating events to guide you. For women, this call often arrives when the life you've built no longer fits the woman you're becoming. Lisa felt it as a quiet unease, a sense that her perfect life was a mask, hiding a deeper truth. Carl Jung called this mask the persona, the face you show the world to fit in. But when the persona starts to crack, when the roles you play, mother, wife, professional, feel like costumes, synchronicity steps in. It's a wake-up call, pulling you toward individuation, the journey to your authentic self. Why now? Because your psyche has its own timeline. It doesn't follow society's clock or your age. For some, like Lisa, it happens at 35. For others, it might be 55. The timing depends on when your unconscious has gathered enough pressure, enough unlived dreams, suppressed désir, or buried truths to demand change. Synchronicity is the spark that lights the fuse. It might show up as a chance encounter, a recurring symbol, or a gut feeling that won't let go. For Lisa, it was a quote from Jung she found in a book. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Those words felt like they were written for her, a sign she was ready to step into her power. But synchronicity isn't just a feel-good moment, it's a call to action. It asks you to listen, to notice the signs, and to trust the process. Carl Jung saw these moments as bridges between your conscious mind and the deeper self, the part of you that knows who you're meant to be. Ignoring them keeps you stuck, living a life that's not yours. Embracing them means daring to question the status quo, to look beneath the surface, and to follow the thread of meaning. Lisa started journaling her synchronicities, random songs, overheard conversations, even a butterfly landing on her window, and found they pointed to a truth she'd ignored. She was outgrowing her carefully curated life. Have you felt this call? Maybe a book caught your eye, or a stranger's words hit too close to home. What if these aren't accidents, but invitations to your most powerful phase? Carl Jung would say, you're being chosen not by fate, but by your own psyche, ready to awaken. The collective unconscious is stirring, connecting you to the wisdom of every woman who's walked this path before. Here's a practical step. Start noticing the signs. Keep a journal of moments that feel too perfect to be random, a song, a dream, a coincidence. Write down what they stir in you. For Lisa, this practice revealed her longing for creativity, something her corporate life had buried. By listening, she began to trust her inner voice. A crucial step in individuation. Don't dismiss these moments as chance. They're the universe's way of saying, you're ready. This first sign is just the beginning. Synchronicity is your psyche's way of saying it's time to shed the old and embrace the new. As we move to the next sign, we'll explore how your persona starts to crumble, revealing the truth beneath. Stay with us. This journey into your power is just getting started. Have you ever felt like the roles you've played for years, mother, wife, professional, suddenly fit like a dress that's too tight? You go through the motions, but something inside feels heavy, like you're suffocating under a mask you didn't choose. This is the second sign of your most transformative phase, the crumbling of the persona. Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that this mask, the face we wear to fit society's expectations, can become a prison when it no longer aligns with the woman you're becoming. Let's dive into why this discomfort is a powerful signal of your inner power awakening and how it sets the stage for your journey to wholeness. Meet Emma, a 40-year-old accountant who spent years perfecting the role of the ideal wife and reliable colleague. She's always been the one to smooth conflicts, keep everyone happy, and never complain. But lately, Emma feels exhausted, not just physically, but deep in her soul. Smiling through family dinners or nodding in meetings feels like betrayal of herself. She catches herself snapping at small things, then feeling guilty for not being perfect. This is the persona cracking, Jung's term for the social mask we adopt to belong. For women, the persona often means being nurturing, agreeable, or polished, but when it no longer fits, it suffocates, signaling it's time for change. Carl Jung taught that the persona is a necessary adaptation, helping us navigate the world. But when it overshadows your authentic self, it becomes a cage. For Emma, her ideal wife role buried her own desires, her love for painting, her need for solitude, her unvoiced opinions. The discomfort she feels isn't failure, it's her psyche rebelling against a false self. This rebellion is a cornerstone of individuation, Jung's process of becoming whole by integrating the parts of you you've hidden. When the persona crumbles, it's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough, a sign you're ready to reclaim the woman beneath the mask. Why does this happen now? Because your psyche knows when you've outgrown your old roles. For Emma, years of suppressing her needs built a pressure that her persona could no longer contain. Carl Jung called this the work of the shadow, the hidden parts of yourself like anger, ambition, or unexpressed dreams that demand to be seen. Women are often taught to bury these qualities to be likable, But in your most powerful phase, the shadow refuses to stay silent. Emma noticed this when she felt a surge of resentment during a family argument, only to realize it wasn't about the moment, it was about years of silencing her own voice. This crumbling can feel disorienting. You might withdraw from conversations that once felt easy, or avoid roles that defined you. Emma started skipping social events, not because she was depressed, but because they felt hollow. Carl Jung would say this is your psyche carving out space for transformation, a psychological cocoon where the old self dissolves. It's not about abandoning responsibility. It's about questioning which responsibilities are truly yours. The discomfort is a gift, a signal that your authentic self is stirring, ready to emerge. Have you felt this shift? Do the roles you've played, caretaker, peacemaker, achiever, feel heavier than they used to? Maybe you're noticing a restlessness, a sense that you're performing for an audience that no longer matters. This is your persona cracking, and it's a powerful invitation to step into your truth. Jung's wisdom tells us that letting go of the mask is the first step to unlocking your inner power. But it takes courage to face the unknown beneath. Here's a practical step. Identify one role that feels like a burden. Maybe it's being the perfect friend who always says yes, or the dutiful daughter who never disagrees. Write down how it feels to play that role, and what you'd do if you weren't bound by it. Emma tried this, listing her frustrations as the ideal wife. She realized she wanted to paint again, to say no without guilt, to prioritize herself. This exercise helped her see the persona for what it was, a mask, not her essence. Carl Jung would encourage you to experiment. Say no once, skip an obligation, or try something your old self wouldn't dare. These small acts loosen the persona's grip, making room for your true self. Let's revisit Emma. After months of feeling trapped, she started small, taking a painting class, speaking up during a family meeting. Each step felt scary but freeing, like shedding a heavy coat. Her persona was crumbling, and beneath it, she found a woman who was creative, assertive, and unafraid to be seen. This is the path of individuation, reclaiming the parts of you the world told you to hide. Here's a question to ponder. What role in your life feels like a mask that's too tight? And what would happen if you let it crack? As we move to the next sign, we'll explore how embracing your shadow unlocks the power you've been taught to suppress. Stay with us. This journey into your strength is deepening. Have you ever felt a surge of anger, ambition, or desire that you quickly pushed down, afraid it made you too much? What if those feelings weren't flaws but hidden strengths waiting to be claimed? Welcome to the third sign of your most transformative phase, embracing the shadow. Carl Jung's psychology reveals that the shadow, the parts of yourself you've buried, like rage, selfishness, or unapologetic dreams, is the key to unlocking your deepest power. When you stop hiding these qualities, you step into the woman you were always meant to be. Let's explore why facing your shadow is a pivotal moment in your journey to wholeness. Meet Mia, a 30-year-old nurse who's always been the good girl kind, selfless, always putting others first. But lately, she's noticed a restlessness, a spark of frustration she can't ignore. During a heated moment at work, she snaps at a colleague, then feels ashamed for losing control. Later, alone, she realizes that outburst wasn't just anger, it was her voice demanding to be heard. This is the shadow emerging, Jung's term for the aspects of ourselves we suppress to fit in. For women, the shadow often holds qualities society deems unacceptable: anger, ambition, or the desire to prioritize yourself. But in your most powerful phase, These qualities refuse to stay buried. Carl Jung taught that the shadow isn't your enemy. It's a treasure chest of untapped power. It holds the parts of you the world told you to hide: your fierce independence, your unfiltered opinions, your right to say no without guilt. For Mia, her shadow contained her longing to pursue a creative career, a dream she'd dismissed to be practical. When these suppressed parts surface, they can feel overwhelming, even shameful. You might snap at someone, cry unexpectedly, or feel a sudden urge to break free from expectations. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's your psyche pushing you toward individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating every part of yourself. Why does the shadow emerge now? Because your most transformative phase demands authenticity. As your persona, the social mask, crumbles, the shadow steps forward, refusing to let you live a half-life. Mia felt this when she started resenting her role as the selfless nurse. Her anger wasn't random. It was her shadow signaling that she'd sacrificed too much of herself. Carl Jung believed that ignoring the shadow keeps you stuck, projecting your pain onto others, or internalizing it as guilt. But embracing it, acknowledging your anger, ambition, or desires unlocks a power that's uniquely yours. It's the courage to be whole, not just good. This process can feel like walking through fire. Facing your shadow means admitting you're not always kind, not always selfless. And that's okay. For Mia, it meant recognizing her resentment wasn't a flaw, but a call to reclaim her voice. She started small, saying no to extra shifts, admitting her dreams to a friend. Each step felt scary, like stepping into a spotlight. But it also felt right, like meeting herself for the first time. Carl Jung would say, this is the heart of individuation, integrating the shadow to become a fuller version of you, not a polished one. Have you felt your shadow stirring? Maybe it's a flash of anger you've suppressed, or a dream you've buried because it felt selfish. What if those feelings are your power trying to break free? Embracing your shadow doesn't mean acting recklessly. It means listening to what it's telling you. It's about honoring the parts of you the world called too much, and seeing them as strength. This is where your transformation deepens, where you start to embody the wise woman or heroine archetype, unafraid to stand in your truth. Here's a practical step. Try a shadow journal. Write down a moment when you felt anger, de désir, or something you were taught to hide. Ask, what is this feeling trying to tell me? For Mia, journaling revealed her anger was tied to her unfulfilled creativity. She started sketching again, a small act that felt like rebellion but brought her alive. Carl Jung would encourage you to experiment, speak up in a meeting, admit a selfish desire, or set a boundary without apologizing. These acts don't just free your shadow, they free you. Let's revisit Mia. After months of guilt, she began embracing her shadow. She enrolled in an art class, spoke her mind at work, and stopped apologizing for wanting more. Each step made her feel stronger, more herself. Her shadow wasn't a flaw. It was her power, waiting to be claimed. Jung's wisdom shows us that the shadow is the doorway to authenticity, and walking through it is how you become whole. Here's a question to reflect on. What part of yourself have you been afraid to show? And what might happen if you let it surface? As we move to the next sign, we'll explore how an archetypal shift from maiden to queen ignites your inner authority. Stay with us. This journey into your power is getting bolder. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like the woman staring back is no longer the one you've always known? Maybe you've started saying no without guilt, or stopped seeking approval to feel whole. This is the fourth sign of your most transformative phase, the archetypal shift. Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that women move through powerful archetypes like the maiden, mother, or queen, And in your most powerful phase, you're stepping from a role defined by others into one rooted in your own authority. Let's explore how this shift from seeking validation to embodying inner strength marks a profound turning point in your journey to wholeness. Meet Sophia, a 50-year-old schoolteacher who spent decades as the perfect daughter and supportive friend. She was always the maiden, seeking approval, molding herself to fit expectations. But recently, something changed. During a family gathering, she spoke her truth about a long-ignored issue, unapologetically, and felt a surge of power she hadn't known before. The room went quiet, but Sophia felt alive, as if she'd stepped into a new version of herself. This is the archetypal shift Jung described, a transition from the maiden who seeks external validation to the queen or crone who carries her authority within. It's a pivotal moment in individuation, the process of becoming your truest self. Carl Jung believed archetypes are universal patterns in the collective unconscious, shaping how we live and grow. The maiden archetype thrives on potential, seeking love, acceptance, or definition from others. Her power lies in becoming, but it's often tied to external mirrors, parents, partners, society. The queen, however, doesn't need permission. She knows who she is because she's faced her shadow and shed her persona. For Sophia, this shift began when she stopped apologizing for her opinions. She noticed she no longer craved her family's approval or felt compelled to please everyone. Instead, she felt a quiet confidence, a sense of sovereignty that Jung would call the hallmark of the queen archetype. Why does this shift happen now? Because your psyche is ready to claim its inner authority as the persona crumbles and the shadow is embraced. The maiden archetype no longer serves you. For Sophia, years of playing the good girl had built a pressure her psyche could no longer ignore. Carl Jung taught that this transition is an initiation, not tied to age, but to readiness. Some women step into the queen at 30, others at 60. The shift feels like a shedding old habits, people-pleasing tendencies, or the need for external validation fall away. You might notice yourself setting boundaries effortlessly or prioritizing your desires without shame. This is your psyche aligning with the queen, an archetype of wisdom, power, and self-ownership. This shift can feel both liberating and unsettling. You might lose interest in relationships that thrive on your compliance, or feel a sudden clarity about what you want. Sophia found herself declining invitations that drained her, choosing instead to spend evenings writing poetry, a passion she'd buried for years. Carl Jung would say this is the anima at work, the feminine soul guiding you toward wholeness. But it's not always easy. The maiden in you might resist, clinging to familiar roles. Society might push back, uncomfortable with a woman who no longer seeks approval. Yet this resistance is proof you're stepping into your power. Have you felt this shift? When was the last time you acted from a place of inner certainty, free from others' expectations? Maybe you set a boundary or pursued a dream without needing permission. This is the queen emerging, a sign you're entering your most powerful phase. Jung's wisdom tells us that this archetypal shift isn't just personal, it's a reclamation of feminine authority, echoing the strength of every woman who's walked this path before you. Here's a practical step. Practice self-affirmation to nurture your queen archetype. Each morning, look in the mirror and say, "I am enough as I am." Write down one action you'll take that honors your inner authority, saying no to a draining request, starting a project you've delayed, or speaking your truth. Sophia tried this, affirming her worth daily and joining a writing group. These acts strengthened her confidence, aligning her with the queen's energy. Carl Jung would encourage you to experiment, Make one choice each day that reflects your needs, not others' expectations. These small steps anchor your new archetype, building a foundation of self-ownership. Let's revisit Sophia. After years of seeking approval, she began to embody the queen. She wrote poetry, set boundaries with her family, and stopped shrinking to fit others' comfort. Each choice felt like a coronation, a step toward individuation, her maiden self, replaced by a woman who ruled her inner world with grace and strength. Here's a question to reflect on. What's one moment you felt free from others' expectations? And how can you invite more of that freedom? As we move to the next sign, we'll explore how solitude becomes a sacred space for your transformation. Stay with us. This journey into your power is growing stronger. Have you ever craved time alone? Not because you're sad, but because the noise of the world feels too loud for the truth stirring inside you. Maybe you've started pulling back from crowded rooms or endless obligations, drawn to quiet moments where you can hear your own voice. This is the fifth sign of your most transformative phase, the power of solitude. Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that solitude isn't loneliness. It's a sacred space where your psyche weaves together the threads of your inner transformation. Let's explore why this pull toward aloneness is a vital step in claiming your deepest power and how it connects you to the collective strength of women across time. Meet Rachel, a 45-year-old graphic designer who's always thrived on connection, friends, family, colleagues. But lately, she's felt an urge to retreat. Social gatherings drain her, and even her closest relationships feel heavy. One evening, she skips a party to sit alone by her window, sketching and listening to the silence. In that quiet, she feels a clarity she hasn't known before, a sense of herself, unfiltered by others' expectations. This is the power of solitude, what Jung called the psychological womb, where transformation unfolds. For women, this retreat is a radical act, a reclaiming of space to meet the authentic self, emerging through individuation. Carl Jung believed solitude is essential for individuation, the journey to wholeness. It's where you confront the shadow, integrate the anima, and align with archetypes like the wise woman or crone. In solitude, you're free from the persona, the social mask, and the need to perform. For Rachel, this meant stepping away from her role as the fun friend who always said yes. In those quiet moments, she began to hear her inner voice, asking questions she'd avoided. What do I want? Who am I without others' approval? Solitude isn't about isolation. It's about creating a sanctuary where your psyche can rebuild, unburdened by external demands. Why does this need for solitude arise now? Because your most powerful phase requires space to process the seismic shifts within. As your persona crumbles and your shadow emerges, you need a quiet space to integrate these changes. Rachel felt this when she started journaling in solitude, uncovering a longing to start her own design studio, a dream she'd buried to please others. Carl Jung taught that solitude connects you to the collective unconscious, the shared reservoir of human experience. In those moments alone, Rachel felt the presence of ancestors, women who faced their own transformations in silence. This connection isn't mystical, it's psychological. A reminder that your journey heals not just you, but the lineage of women before you. This solitude can feel daunting. You might worry you're withdrawing too much, or fear being seen as selfish. Rachel hesitated, wondering if her retreat was pushing friends away. But Carl Jung would argue this isn't rejection, it's incubation. The wise woman archetype thrives in solitude, where you can listen to your intuition without distraction. Society often teaches women that aloneness is a flaw, but in your transformative phase, it's a strength. You're not hiding, you're preparing, like a seed in dark soil before it blooms. Have you felt this pull towards solitude? Maybe you've cancelled plans or craved quiet evenings. Not out of sadness, but a need to hear yourself. What if this aloneness is your psyche's way of carving out space for your power to grow? Jung's wisdom tells us that solitude is where you meet your true self, unfiltered by the world's noise. It's a sacred pause, a bridge to the crone archetype, who carries wisdom born of stillness. Here's a practical step. Carve out intentional solitude. Set aside 10 minutes each day to be alone. No phone. No distractions. Sit with a journal. Meditate. Or simply breathe. Asking, what does my inner voice want to say? Rachel started this practice, writing down her thoughts in silence, and discovered her fear of failure was holding her back. By listening, she found the courage to plan her studio. Carl Jung would encourage you to treat solitude as a ritual light, a candle. Walk in nature, or sit quietly, letting your intuition guide you. These moments build a foundation for your emerging power. Let's revisit Rachel. After months of feeling drained by others, she embraced solitude. She spent evenings sketching, meditating, and dreaming without apology. In those quiet hours, she felt connected to a lineage of women, grandmothers, ancestors who found strength in stillness. Her solitude wasn't loneliness, it was a chrysalis, shaping her into a woman who trusted her own wisdom. Jung's insight shows us that solitude is where transformation takes root, preparing you for the wise woman within. Here's a question to reflect on. What does solitude teach you about yourself? And how can you make space for it in your life? As we move to our final sign, we'll share practical steps to fully embrace your transformative phase with Jung's wisdom. Stay with us. This journey into your power is reaching its peak. You've felt the signs, the spark of synchronicity, the crumbling persona, the stirring shadow, the archetypal shift, and the pull of solitude. These aren't just moments. They're the building blocks of your most powerful phase. Now, how do you harness them to step fully into your strength? Welcome to the final chapter of our journey, practical steps to embrace your power. Carl Jung's psychology offers more than insights. It provides a roadmap to individuation, the path to becoming your truest self. Through real-life steps, we'll tie together the 5 signs and show you how to live your transformation with courage, clarity, and purpose. Meet Claire, a 38-year-old entrepreneur who felt lost in her roles as perfect mother and driven boss. Synchronicity brought her to a Jungian workshop where she recognized her persona was suffocating her creativity. Her shadow surfaced as anger at always putting others first, and she began shifting from maiden to queen, craving solitude to hear her inner voice. Claire's story shows how the 5 signs converge, but it's her actions that turned insight into power. Let's break down 3 practical steps, inspired by Jung, to help you claim your transformative phase and live as the woman you're meant to be. Step 1. Track synchronicity to trust your path. Synchronicity is your psyche's compass, guiding you toward authenticity. Start a synchronicity journal. Each day, note moments that feel too perfect to be random, a song lyric, a chance encounter, a recurring dream. Ask, what is this telling me about my journey? Claire began this practice, noticing how books on creativity kept appearing. This led her to enroll in an art course, reconnecting with a passion she'd buried. Carl Jung taught that synchronicity connects you to the collective unconscious. So, trust these signs. They're your psyche saying, this is your path. Step 2. Release the persona with small acts of truth. Your persona, the mask you wear, crumbles when you honor your authentic self. Identify one role that feels heavy, like people pleaser or perfect employee. Write down how it limits you. Then take one small action to break free. Say no to an obligation, voice an unpopular opinion, or prioritize a personal goal. Claire listed her frustrations as the perfect mother and started taking an hour each week for herself. Guilt-free. Carl Jung would say these acts loosen the persona's grip, aligning you with your true self. Start small, but be consistent. Each act builds your inner authority. Step 3. Embrace your shadow through honest reflection. The shadow holds your hidden power, anger, ambition, desires you've suppressed. Create a safe space to explore it. Set aside 10 minutes weekly to journal about a feeling you've buried. Like resentment or a selfish dream, ask, what does this part of me want? Claire journaled about her anger at always prioritizing others, realizing it was a call to launch her own creative business. Carl Jung believed embracing the shadow is key to individuation. So don't fear these feelings. See them as strength. Try expressing your shadow safely. Write a letter you don't send. Paint your emotions. Or speak your truth to a trusted friend. Step 4. Embody the Queen in daily choices. The Queen archetype thrives on inner authority. Practice daily affirmations to anchor this energy. Each morning, say, I am whole, and my choices reflect my truth. Then, make one decision that honors your needs. Decline a draining invitation. Start a project, or set a boundary. Claire began affirming her worth and joined a women's leadership group, amplifying her queen energy. Carl Jung would encourage you to see these choices as rituals, building a life aligned with your authentic self, not external expectations. Step 5. Honor solitude as sacred space. Solitude is where transformation takes root. Schedule intentional alone time, 10 minutes daily or an hour weekly to sit quietly. Meditate or journal. Ask, what is my inner voice saying? Claire used solitude to plan her business, finding clarity in silence. Carl Jung saw solitude as a bridge to the collective unconscious, connecting you to the wisdom of women before you. Treat it like a sacred practice. Light a candle, walk in nature, or breathe deeply, letting your intuition guide you. Let's revisit Claire. By tracking synchronicities, releasing her persona, embracing her shadow, embodying the Queen, and honoring solitude, she transformed. She launched her creative business, set boundaries without guilt, and felt a strength she'd never known. Jung's wisdom turned her restlessness into power, not just for herself, but for the women she inspires. Your transformation isn't just personal, it's a ripple in the collective unconscious, healing generations. Have you started noticing these signs in your life? Which step feels most urgent for you to take today? Share in the comments, we'd love to hear your journey. These steps aren't just actions, they're a commitment to individuation, to becoming the woman you were always meant to be. As we wrap up, we'll leave you with a powerful call to action to live your truth. Stay with us. This journey into your power is about to soar. You're not just watching a video, you're answering a call from your soul. Through Carl Jung's wisdom, we've uncovered 5 powerful signs of your most transformative phase: the spark of synchronicity, the crumbling persona, the awakening shadow, the archetypal shift to the Queen, and the sacred power of solitude. These aren't just moments, they're the foundation of your inner power. To a journey to individuation that reshapes not just you, but the collective strength of women across generations. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Right now, you're stepping into that privilege, claiming your truth, with every choice you make. Which sign hit you hardest? Was it the pull of solitude or the courage to embrace your shadow? Share your story in the comments. We're here to witness your transformation. If this journey stirred something in you, hit that like button, subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub, and tap the bell to never miss an insight. Don't keep this to yourself. Share this video with a woman who needs to hear it. Your transformation inspires others. Next, we're diving into Jung's archetypes and how they shape your path to love, power, and purpose. Stay with us. Your journey to wholeness is just beginning. Let's awaken the wise woman within together.